Welcome to the Motorcycle Enthusiast Center. We are at Motorcycles of Greensboro, and I am the professor. Yeah. Follow me because I want to show you the Hooligan bike of the decade. Come on, let's go. So the way I describe this bike to people is just add Hooligan, right?
Okay.
Because if this bike doesn't turn you into an absolute hooligan while you're riding it, I don't know what does. And it is absolutely amazing. It puts a grin from ear to ear on my face and everybody else that I've ever known that rides a motorcycle, right? This is a 2023 Ducati Hypermotard SP.
And we're going to talk about the bike. You're going to see some of its features. I'll take it out on the road, share my thoughts with you guys, talk about the cost of ownership, and assign it a Bhroman score. But before we do any of that, what does it have to do, Professor?
You have to click on the like and then the subscribe button too.
Yeah. Tell them, Professor.
Beep, 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 beep. Yeah.
We put out content every week, and your support would mean a lot. It's me, it's your boy, Bro, and here's the Professor. And we are your Bhroman.
Mid-90s to late 90s to the early 2000s, Americans were taking motocross bikes and they were putting street tires on them called a supermotard. You'd have a 252-stroke or a 454-stroke single cylinder with street tires, and then they started racing them. And it got to be a pretty big thing. And people were just having a great time with it because there were really no limits to what you could do to the thing until you blew up the engine. Because, you know, if you're racing on the street on a little 252-stroke single cylinder, chances are it's not going to last very long. It's going to need some rebuilding. Ducati had hired a gentleman, very, very known motorcycle designer by the name of Pierre Terre Blanche.
Okay.
He is also the gentleman who designed the 999, the original Multistrada, the one with the funny front end of it,
two headlamps,
the very polarizing. Yes, the Hypermotard was one of his designs.
Okay.
Ducati teased it at the EICMA show in 2005 for a market launch in 2007. The motorcycle has been in production since then, in different configurations and different variations and different, all sorts of different things. It started out with a 1100cc 2-valve air-cooled engine. It has evolved to what it is today, which is a 950cc liquid-cooled 6-gear quick shifter, traction control, anti-lock braking system. I describe this as the single most misunderstood motorcycle in the entire industry. A lot of people look at this and go, and then they ride it. That's when they start to understand how much fun it really is.
And this is the SP edition.
Yes.
So I'm assuming there's a regular edition as well?
Yeah, it's the version that I call the standard, right? So, and the difference between the two, obviously, usually it's the paint, but more importantly, you know, I'm a big fan of those beautiful golden
forks and the Öhlins. That means Öhlins.
So SP means Öhlins. Usually potentially a bigger brake rotor, so better braking. Sometimes it adds a quick shifter. In this case, it doesn't. It's both of them have it. But the difference in the Öhlins for me really means track ready.
And better handling. The other one would need a little more finessing with the suspension and getting it ready to go. But both of them are just amazing motorcycles. And you'll notice when you're riding, and I will influence you on this one, I think, as you're riding it, there will come a time when you'll feel like the bike has completely disappeared from underneath, and you're just gliding through the air, you're just floating through the air. And it is an absolute amazing feeling of freedom. Nice. It's got DRLs, those white stripes, kind of go with the DRLs. A high front fender. Golden shocks means Öhlins. And a tiny little fender up front. It has these hand guards with the turn signals integrated within them. That's really cool. I like it. And this bike has a 25-degree rake angle. What's the rake angle, you ask?
Door perpendicular from the steering mount for the fork tube. That angle is your rake angle. Shorter the rake angle, the more nimble the bike is, and larger the rake angle, the more stable it is at higher speeds, highway speeds and such. Sports bikes tend to have a rake angle close to 24, cruisers 30. So this is 25, so it's really sporty. The braking power is produced by dual 320mm disc brakes with Brembo brakes. And at the heart is that liquid-cooled 950cc L-twin, 114 horses, 79 foot-pound of torque. I like the lines on the bike, not gonna lie. Single-threaded swing arm, forged wheels. And look at that undertail high exhaust, love it. Also, check out this beautiful SP livery, the red, black, and white. Oof, gorgeous. And looking at the tail, there's your tail lamps, turn signals, and those high exhaust. And look at the tires. This was when the professor was coaching the novice group, and that's what happens to performance tires when they heat up and they are ridden hard and properly by someone who knows what he's doing. Your suspension, Öhlins, adjustable. What else would you expect? It's a SP after all. It's got that naked trellis frame, and there is that long bench seat. Quite different from other Ducatis. There's your fuel tank. That's a 3.8 gallon fuel tank. And in the front, again, you have gold forks, which means Öhlins. No keyless ignition. This has the old school key that you got to put in and turn the bike on. Let's talk about the handlebar controls. So on your left hand side we have our passing lights, high beam, low beam. That's to control your menu, your selector button and the riding modes, and the horn. I like these mirrors, man. I love the shape. As for the handlebar controls on your right, you have your starter and kill switch and starter, DRLs, and your hazards. Levers are adjustable, so you can move them around to make them closer or farther away, both sides. All right, so let's start her up and check out the screen, shall we? So we get the fancy Ducati logo. You have warning signs on both sides, and that's your shift light on top. And in this screen, you get your oil temperature, time, the IMU settings for the traction control and stuff, tachometer, which gear you're on, speedometer, side stand indicator, DRL light, which riding mode you're on, and then settings. And you can toggle around here, so you can go from settings to total odometer, trip 1, average consumption, average speed, trip time, outside temperature, trip 2, consumption, and back to settings menu. Now once you get into settings menu, you have riding mode, pin code, lap timer, backlight, date and clock, units, service, tire calibration, DRL, turn indicators, and info. You can select the riding mode, sport, touring, or urban. And you can customize the riding modes further even. Your engine levels, you can say high, medium, low, and I like this part, like it's highlighted in blue. So you go back, let's say traction control is the rear tire, and you can set your levels of traction control. Pretty cool, right? Can you tell our viewers a little bit more about the Enthusiast Center?
Yeah. When you walk into what I would consider a dealership, there's always there's always that guy that goes, if I do this, will you buy it today? Or, if I do this, will you, we don't do that here, man. We don't do that here. We came together as a group, as motorcycle enthusiasts. Paul, who can get on a motorcycle and ride for 150 hours straight non-stop. The only stop is the fuel tank, right? Troy, who's been around motorcycles since the early 90s, and and all of the stuff that he does.
You have Andrew and Brandon, who do a little bit of everything, right?
They have their dedicated off-road bikes, they have their road bikes.
They commute. They do weekend rides. They do track days. And then, speaking of track days, then we have the professor.
And then there's me.
Who is our dedicated track day rider / coach. This is a great place, man. Just come on down, check them out. These guys are a hoot. And who should they say send them to you guys?
They should tell us at the Bhroman Center.
Yes.
They're immediately welcome to a family of VIPs.
VIPs, yes. And sometimes a dysfunctional family, but That's what family is.
That's the only kind.
The only kind of
It's the only kind.
But yeah, check them out. I'll put their website link in the video description below. They're right here in Greensboro, North Carolina. Professor, we've been chatting for a minute. Do you happen to know what time it is?
You're checking your watch too, huh?
Yes.
Bro, it's right o'clock, brother.
It's right o'clock. Let's go.
New to Bhroman, give us a like and hit that subscribe button. We put out content every week, and your support would mean a lot. Let's get rolling. And this is how the Hypermotard SP sounds idling, and this is how it sounds with a little bit of gas. I'm excited, man. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Now keep in mind, this is a tall bike. This has a seat height of 34 inches. We're starting off in urban mode, and we're gonna go and do our first test. We'll make a couple of U-turns and see how this puppy maneuvers, shall we? With the light bike, the steep rake angle, short wheelbase, yeah, U-turns are no problem, man. This thing can go around in circles pretty much all day if you wanted to. All the freaking day. Which means it's time for our second test, the pull test! Wow, man, this is not like the fastest bike I've ever ridden, but this is stupid fun. That's what it is. It's quick and it's so light and narrow. It just feels so amazing. Impressions of this motorcycle. Well, first things first, you're sitting up really high, and well, I'm sitting up quite upright, which is different. My legs are not bent weirdly at all. This is different. Let's check out the brakes at the stop sign. Front brakes only. Yeah, front brakes, no problem. Now I told you this bike has a 34-inch seat height. I am on my tippy toes, no doubt about it. Don't mind the mirror. I did something to this mirror, but anyways, there's no reach for the handlebars. They're at a really comfy level. That engine sound, man, I love twins, and it's got so much character in that exhaust note and that engine. I am loving it, man. Wow. And give it gas and it's like man, this is a lot of fun. Oh my god. Oh my god. The exhaust barks at you too. As for the balance, man, wow, this balance on this bike is just freaking amazing. What else would you expect from a Ducati? What else would you expect from a Ducati, bro, man? Okay. So wind protection, right? So there is zero wind protection, because no fairing, none of that. So you get hit by a lot of wind. On days like today in the 80s, it's just fine. It feels nice. On colder days, it's not gonna be fun. Neither is it gonna be fun on the highways. I don't assume it's gonna be fun on the highways at all. But man, throw it around some corners and twisties. Yeah, we are in business. Can we change modes on the fly? We should be able to. Yep, so we were in urban. Let's go and put it in touring mode. Close throttle. That's touring mode. So let's see. Oh man. Oh, that kick is amazing. The bike, yeah, the power, man. It just gets you every time. So touring mode, you get a little more kick than urban mode. But I don't know. I don't see how you're gonna just go touring on a bike like this. But I guess you could. If you're motivated enough, you can make anything happen. The fun part of this motorcycle isn't that it's super powerful or super fast or anything. It's so narrow and the torque and the power kicks in so easily, and it just feels so light. That's what makes it so much fun. It's just stupid, but it's so much fun. It makes no sense, but it's fun, and that's all that matters. That's important consumer advice right there. It's stupid, but it's fun. Sport, closed throttle, that should bring up sport mode. Yeah. So in sport mode, everything's a little more immediate. The throttle response is like, let's go! That's all it wants to do. Check out the balance, no hands, up straight. This is the beauty of this bike, man. It's stupid and it's so much fun. It makes zero sense. Something that's stupid should not be fun. Oh, and check that out. Listen to that. Oh, I'm such a child. I'm such a child. Road is definitely fun, man. The power is right there. Oh. Oh my god, this thing is a hoot. This thing is such a hoot to ride, man. Wow. Man, it turns in when you want to. It goes through the turn so easily and effortlessly. The brakes are so amazing, and it's just so much fun. It just makes that child in you just come alive. Just come alive. Oh wow. This thing is just bonkers is what it is. But I kind of like it. I really do. So, is this a good bike for commuting? Yeah. I mean, if you're commuting with a backpack, because this has no storage space or saddlebags, if you're commuting with a backpack and you're not taking highways, you should be fine. And maybe even a small little run on the highway shouldn't be too bad. But if you're gonna be commuting with like for miles and miles and miles of highway riding, yeah, probably not. But for otherwise, if it's just, you know, urban riding and, you know, back roads and stuff, yeah, you should be fine commuting. And just imagine you show up to work with a stupid grin on your face, and no matter how your day goes, when you see the bike and you start riding, that stupid grin comes right back on your face. Oh yeah. Now, is this a good bike for touring? Well, no, because you are sitting up quite upright, but I mean, it's not a good bike for touring because A, it's got no wind protection, B, there's no storage space, and C, you know, I like other stuff like speakers and all that shebang. I don't see any of that. Now, you could put a tank bag, you could put a tail bag, and maybe get some stuff in it. You could probably do like couple hundred miles, like back roads and stuff. But if you're going long distance touring, yeah, no, this is not. I don't think it's a good bike for touring like that. What about beginners? Is this a good beginner bike? Absolutely not. This costs what? Close to $20,000, 114 horses, and a 78 foot-pound of torque. Might not seem like huge numbers, but the way this bike puts out power, no, this is definitely not a bike for beginners. For someone who's brand new to motorcycling, absolutely not. Bhroman, what about the cost of ownership? So, in conclusion, this is the Ducati Hypermotard SP Sport Production. All-in suspension, forged wheels, 114 horses, 78 foot-pound of torque. A whole lot of fun. A whole lot of stupid fun is what it is. You can commute on it. Probably not the best for touring and not for beginners. But this is a whole lot of fun if you want to do track days and just have an all-round fun where you can get a stupid grin on your face the whole time. Then yeah, this could be the bike for you. Head on down to your closest Ducati dealer and take one for a spin and see what you think about it. And thanks for watching, you guys. Keep your knees in the breeze, and I'll see you soon. Bro out.